Welcome to We'll Sing and We'll Shout. I am your host, Steve Hansen. Welcome here on a Wednesday night. So I've got my sister Cheryl on here with us. We're expecting Ava to join us here briefly. She said she would and was interested in doing that. Maybe something has come up. But I'm dressed up here tonight. I just got back from the Saratoga Springs Temple with my family. Cheryl, we had 5 children over there, plus Angela, so Bart's wife, Angela,
Nice.
and 4 daughters. The reason we wanted to get over the temple as a family because Stephanie leaves on Saturday to go to France. She is doing a culinary arts internship over there in the south of France for the next 3 or 4 months.
That's crazy.
So, which is really, really neat experience opportunity for her. And then Ellen, as you know, I don't think I shared it on here before, but Ellen got her mission call just the night before last, and she is going to be serving in the Indiana Fort Wayne mission, and she will leave our home on July 1st. She'll go over to the MTC here close by, half-mile away. She'll spend about 2 weeks there, and then she will go into the mission field in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So, and she'll get there right there in the thick of summer, which I'm sure is a wonderful time to be visiting the flatlands of Indiana. So
It's always nice and muggy.
but I'm sure she'll have amazing companions. She'll meet amazing people. She'll teach amazing people. She'll have a great experience, and she'll love Indiana by the time she leaves there for sure. So just got a thumbs up from Heidi for some reason. Don't know what that was all about, but um, so we wanted to get Ava on here because Ava is this amazing person I just met a week ago. She is a mother of 4 children, and she has been using the Feel Great system for, what was it, 13 months? I think that's right. She had weighed 250 pounds, and she had a lot of struggles with her energy. And by using the Feel Great system, she lost, 70, 80 pounds or something. And she is now training for a marathon. And this is a mother of 4, and these kids are like ages 13 to 18. I think that's kind of the range. And she just had so much energy and was so excited about her story. And I just thought it would be so fun to get her on here and talk with us and visit with us. And if it doesn't happen tonight, if something came up for her, then we will do this. We will do this with her another night. So, but sure. Any thoughts? Anything you want to throw out here while we're talking?
Um, I know
Kind
I
of put you
had
on the
something.
put
I'm
you
le-
on the
um I just have to explain to everybody why I'm a little bit drowsy tonight. I got stung by a wasp earlier, and my husband made me take 2 Benadryl to kind of counteract the effects of the wasp sting. So now I'm kind of bleary. So I'm trying to stay awake and be with y'all. No, I just really thought that that lady's story was, it really stood out to me amongst all those stories the other day when there must have been about 10 people telling their stories. And on that live you did. And she was really the one that stood out to me. Like, I'd really like to get to know that lady. And she did seem like she had lost the most amount of weight of all the people, which is interesting to me. So, yeah, I just kind of want to ask her her secrets and how she dealt with the fasting and snacking, because that's one of my worst things is snacking.
Yeah, I feel the same way. She had so much energy. She had so much enthusiasm to share, and she's like, I want to get my family on this, and like, what are you waiting for? This is so good. This is so healthy. She
Right.
was just so pumped up about it all. So I thought that was just so much fun. But so we will definitely get Ava on here. If this doesn't happen tonight, we will get her on here another time for sure. Um, but um,
How are
you
some of
you and I were
your
talking.
other people doing? Like, what about those people out in Tonga or whatever, wherever you were?
Well, Tahiti.
Oh,
Um,
that's it, Tahiti.
yeah. So my friend out there in Tahiti on the island of Bora Bora, um, Tahi. His name is longer than that, but he goes by Tahi for short. And Tahi is using the program. He likes the products. I haven't got a clear update about exactly how he's doing with his weight loss, but he needed to lose 40 or 50 pounds. And you always have to be careful with comments like this. But his wife his wife needed to lose some weight too. Like you could see, they got married in the temple there in Tahiti like 4 or 5 years ago, and they were pretty normal sized Tahitians, you know.
Yep.
Um, but they both over the last 4 or 5 years have put on some weight, and that was kind of obvious. So so it was obvious that they both needed to. Yeah, I'm fighting with my computer here while I'm trying to talk. It was obvious that they both needed some help, and so this could be a blessing to both of them. But and then I did ship a 10 pack over there to him so he can start, sharing this with others. But his idea was, hey, let me have some success here myself, first of all, so I've got a story to share. And I was like, yeah,
Sure.
that's great. That's exactly what you want to do. So,
Yep.
and then I have a number of other people over there, who are kind of who have been introduced to it. I had a couple of people on the island of Moorea who both lost, like 10 pounds, and then kind of decided that they were okay. Like, and these were people who really could lose 40 or 50 pounds. They lost 10 pounds, and now they're like, oh yeah, I think we're good. And I'm like, this is working for you. Why would you
Just
not just want to go ahead and lose all this extra weight? I don't
right.
know. I just come from a background, Cheryl. Maybe I've got too much Grandma Hanson in me. I don't know, but I just want to be lean and slender, and not thin, but I just want to be lean and slender, and
Hmm.
and that's the way I.
Dad's done a good job of keeping himself slender his whole life. I mean, there's been times when he might look a little chunkier than others, but for the most part, he's taken really good care of himself, you know?
Yeah, he has, and what's interesting about Dad, of course, is he grew up drinking Guernsey milk. He grew up drinking milk, and they drank a lot of milk on that farm, and it was 4.5 to 5% butterfat. So this whole theory that somehow it's the fat in our
That
diets that's
makes you fat.
fat
Ridiculous.
is just
Yeah.
not true.
Yep.
Um, the guy has been incredibly healthy. Now he did have some arteries that were like pretty closed up. So maybe there was something there, and I think he got that fixed up. But he has been really healthy for sure. Um, you and I were talking there briefly before we started this about the fact that this unicity stuff, this protocol is amazing for your physical health, and what a blessing it is to be able to reverse things like type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure. There's a whole host of things, a whole range of things that are caused by metabolic dysfunction, or more specifically insulin resistance. But there's so much more to our health and well-being than just our physical health. You need to be mentally and spiritually healthy too, and that plays into this in such a huge way. And there are so many good examples of people that have tremendous physical health, Olympic athletes, NBA players, whatever, but can't hold their lives together because they're not mentally and may I say spiritually healthy.
Right.
um, any thoughts and examples you want to share there?
Um,
Because
just something.
you kind of shared one before we got started.
Well, remind me what it was, because I am really struggling.
Well, it was something to do with Caitlin.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, I was just saying, world class athlete. I mean, we all watched him in the Olympics, and he's on the Wheaties box. And I mean,
Yep.
he's just like, he was the athlete of our generation, really, because that was
Bruce Jenner.
1976 or something, right?
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was
Bruce
like, I
Jenner.
remember the Wheaties box with him holding the American flag and running with it behind him.
Yeah,
And now he's changed gender. So it just seems like maybe things aren't so great with whatever's going on with him. I don't know. I mean, he
yeah,
was married to the Kardashian woman, and had
yeah.
those two beautiful girls who are like, one of them's a supermodel. And so that I think it was very hurtful to Chris, his wife, when he decided he didn't want to be male anymore. And, I can't imagine how harmful that would have been to a woman's psychology.
Right. Well, it's interesting. I love Seinfeld, and it was my younger brother Ben who introduced me to Seinfeld. But there's one episode there where George, the girl that George dated and was in, well, I guess he wasn't engaged to Susan at that point. But anyway, they broke up, and then she started dating. She became a lesbian, and George has this line in there about how, he sends them to lesbian and Kramer brings them back or something.
Right.
It's a really, fun, fantastic episode that really deals with a lot of interesting issues. And this was back in the 90s.
Right.
But yeah, there's one there where, the girl gets done dating George and then she decides she wants to be a lesbian. So,
Right.
and so, yeah,
Martin
of
said
course,
there's a real funny South Park episode about all that kind of, um, a lady decides that she wants to be a lesbian, but then she's with a guy, and then she decides to be with a girl, but then that girl decides to change gender, so that girl becomes a guy. So then the lesbian doesn't like her anymore because all of a sudden she's a guy. So it just like, just kind of this roundabout silliness on South Park. They always bring up all these crazy. They just broach topics that none of the rest of us would even think of broaching, which is pretty funny.
right. Yeah. Yeah, Seinfeld did a good job of touching on a lot of interesting issues back in the 90s. And I love Seinfeld, and I've seen all these episodes at least 25 times. It's something that I'll just turn on for 5 or 10 minutes before I go to bed at night, just as a way to kind of emotionally, drain or whatever.
Relax.
But what's funny is I never watched it in the 90s when it was a show, when it was
When it was so
popular.
popular. Yeah.
I was going to school, having kids, doing whatever. I wasn't watching Seinfeld. I didn't start watching it until, the mid 2000s.
Yeah.
And then I've had a big Seinfeld problem ever since. I do try to keep it under control, but yeah, but I've learned, I don't know, I've learned a lot from that show, and it's helped to shape me in ways, some of which I hope are positive. So,
Well,
but
like our guilty pleasure is Big Bang Theory. Me and Martin, we just love that because characters are just a hoot. How they interact with each other, and
right.
it's just one laugh after another. A lot of people are hooked on Friends. I know Sherry really likes Friends,
I
but we
never
prefer Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, I don't mind Friends. Obviously, some really talented, beautiful girls, and the guys are good actors too. So
Hmm.
a really good group of people, but I just never really got that hooked on that. Like I can watch it, but I never really got that hooked into it.
Yeah, some
Um,
people just Sherry bought the whole box set, and she watches them. She knows all the episodes.
right, right. Maybe I should take a fresh look at that because there are a lot of really good actors there for sure. Um, So when I get done sharing my, well, our stories go on forever, so I'll never get done. But I'm going to be sharing, a story here this spring and summer as we move on here. And someday you're going to want to make a play and even a movie out of this. So just know that
Okay,
that this is all coming.
I'm not
So
sure. I have my pad and pencil ready to take notes.
because this is a really good story that I'm going to share, and while you know some parts of it, you certainly don't know all of it, and I think you'll be pretty amazed by the time we dig down to the bottom of all this.
Hmm.
So here's the deal. So we as a family were going to go out to eat after the temple here. So and we were going to go to Victoria. Didn't get to come to the temple tonight because she works at this Thai restaurant, and uh, and she had to work tonight. And the owner, Victoria's been working there about 3 months. The owner developed so much trust and faith in Victoria that the owner is actually back in Thailand, and it's not like Victoria's there running the thing by herself or whatever, but just knowing that Victoria would be there gave the owner the confidence that she could go on this vacation to Thailand for a week or so.
That's nice.
And so Victoria is working every single day. So Victoria didn't get to come to the temple. So we were going to go to Victoria's restaurant tonight, to kind of be able to spend some time with her. But now we've found out that they're full tonight, and so
Oh,
we're not going to
geez.
go there. We're going to have to go to some other place.
Yep.
So I'm going to go catch up with my family, and we're going to call this a show here tonight. I'm going to let you throw in here any last moment thoughts. Tomorrow will be Thursday. We'll do Throwback Thursday. We'll talk about some amazing thing, and you'd be welcome to join me if you want to. But hey, thanks anybody who jumped in here tonight. Kind of a shorter session, which after some of our longer sessions should be appreciated.
Yes, probably
And
a relief.
yeah, probably relief. And we will catch you. Any closing comments here from?
No, I don't think so. My brain's
Okay.
asleep.
No. All right. Well, we'll let you go rest your brain. I'm going to go grab some dinner with these